Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay. Yes, this. Sand, snow, and castles. Perfect combo. Great grass. Let's go. Hi, guys. Hope you're doing well. My name's Connor. If you're new, the link to the original video, preemptive like, top of the description from English Heritage. Let's go, shall we? Thank you for the recommendation. Who was it? Kelly or... Yeah. I see Menvra and Wildman. You have good ones too. I will get to those. Let's go.
My road trip has brought me to Kenilworth Castle. Now a romantic ruin, but once one of the most powerful fortresses and luxurious palaces in the land. Kenilworth is strategically positioned in the West Midlands, between Coventry and Warwick.
Wow, that is like center as you can get. Like, from... if anyone's ever been to these, I always love seeing those comments. Any comments I appreciate, but just curious if anyone's been there.
The original Norman castle changed hands and was extended several times, dominating the surrounding area and rivaling the fortress of the powerful nearby Earls of Warwick. As the medieval period began to wane, Kenilworth was adapted to become a far more lavish palace where some of the most powerful people in the land could enjoy the good life. There was one particularly romantic chapter of English history that played itself out here. It's been one that's fascinated historians for 450 years, because it was here that its owner, Robert Dudley, the Earl of Leicester, put on the most extraordinary party for a woman he may have been trying to marry, Elizabeth I.
Obviously didn't happen, right?
Elizabeth visited Kenilworth 4 times, with her final visit in 1575, for one of the wildest parties of Tudor England. This 19-day party cost Dudley £1,000 a day. That's something like £350,000 in today's money. But that only came at the end of a years-long process of turning Kenilworth into a fantasy medieval castle fit for a queen.
19-day party?
Dudley paid for a whole new building at Kenilworth, specially for the Queen's visit. A lavish set of rooms for the Queen and her entourage to stay in. This was the magnificent bedchamber built for Elizabeth, just one room in basically a whole stately home that Dudley built for her here, with chambers for dancing and socialising and work. And perhaps most telling of all, a little private connecting corridor to Dudley's rooms. This potential couple had a problem. Robert Dudley had been married before and his wife had died in mysterious circumstances. And also, Elizabeth as queen did not want to submit herself to a lord and master, a husband. But that didn't stop Dudley trying, particularly in his own backyard. So for this special occasion, Dudley didn't just build a brand new house with all the mod cons that a queen could need. He completely renovated this grand privy garden. He wanted to create a kind of Garden of Eden for his queen. Dudley created this beautiful private garden, like a sensory experience for Elizabeth. The paths...
All of this and it didn't happen. Jeez.
Full private garden, like
the marriage, obviously.
Sensory experience for Elizabeth. The paths were of sand. The aviary that dominated it was encrusted with jewels. In the middle was this magnificent marble fountain, possibly with statues of him and his brother as Atlas holding up the earth. Around the side of the statue there were marble friezes depicting titillating scenes from Ovid's Metamorphosis. In the gardens itself, plenty of roses for his Tudor rose. Lots of other wonderful flowers. In the gardens itself, plenty of roses for his Tudor rose. Lots of other wonderful flowers arranged in neat Italian-style beds, all geometric, designed as a place where she could relax and get away from the strain of being the sovereign. English Heritage have recreated the garden. It's as close as possible to how it was when Elizabeth enjoyed it in 1575. The key information came from one of her staff, Robert Langham, who snuck into the garden. Fortunately for us, he recorded what he saw, a garden for all the senses. To taste of delicious strawberries, cherries and other fruits. To smell such fragrancy of sweet odours breathing from the plants, herbs and flowers, to hear such natural, melodious music of birds. So that was the private entertainment. What about the public spectacles?
Is that a birdhouse?
Nothing like this had been seen before. This was the party in the 16th century, a 19-day extravaganza, a fantasy. There were floating mermaids on the moat. There were fireworks you could hear 10 miles away. There were shows indoor and out, non-stop drinking and dancing. The story goes that young William Shakespeare was here. He was so moved by what he saw that he would eventually end up writing Midsummer Night's Dream. Today, Elizabeth's specially built apartments are a ruin, devoid of decoration. But it's still possible to see what they look like on the inside, as the interior of one room was moved to another corner of the castle where it survived. It's a rare glimpse into the world of Elizabeth and Robert Dudley in their heyday. This is in the gatehouse.
I don't want to say it's not. Compared to a lot of other ruins, I feel like it's not. I feel like 500 years isn't that old. A little less than 500 years. And to see it so... Like, I wonder, depending on how well the castle was built and how much it got destroyed by other events after it was built. Like, how long does your standard castle survive before it just sinks into, or it just erodes away into what you see here?
Kenilworth Castle. But this is in the gatehouse at Kenilworth Castle. But all the fittings have been removed from the original building built by Dudley for Elizabeth's visit. The windows, the oak panelling, this beautiful alabaster fireplace, and it's here that you get a sense of what it must have been like in those palatial apartments. So you've got E here for Elizabeth, over here on the other side of the fireplace, R for Regina, then as well as Elizabeth's title, you see Robert Leicester here, the Earl of Leicester, with his garter badge and his personal insignia, and his motto, droit et loyal, right and loyal. He might have been right, and he might have been loyal, but he wasn't right for her. They never got married, and in fact, Elizabeth, although he remained a favourite, she never visited Kenilworth ever again.
I'm curious whether she knew that this was some sort of proposing effort when she was going to the party, or if he was just trying to get her there and show her all this stuff and then hopefully court her in some way. Not that the ending would be that different, but it kind of would be. You know, I'm just curious.
Dudley remarried in 1578, not to Elizabeth. And after 40 years of friendship, he died in 1588. Elizabeth was heartbroken. The man she called her brother and best friend was gone. We'll probably never know whether Elizabeth and Dudley consummated their love. Perhaps they were like Romeo and Juliet, two star-crossed lovers who could never be together. But in concentrating on their relationship, we're perhaps underestimating the importance of this pageant in the larger scene. Dudley wanted to reinforce the fact that he was the Queen's favourite. He was the leading magnate in the land, the most powerful noble. And as for all this discussion around Elizabeth the Virgin Queen, perhaps we're just echoing those who have been uncomfortable traditionally with the idea of a strong female ruler.
Very interesting. Obviously beautiful recreations, and yeah, I'm kind of dying to know what she knew, and if it was like, because if it was she knew it was a kind of courting effort or effort to get her attention, and then she just went and had that huge party and left, it might be a little more sad than if it was just like an attempt to get her there and then show, you know, your whatever. Yeah, I'm curious. I doubt anyone knows the answer. I'm just kind of speaking out loud here. Thinking out loud, speaking out loud. Blech. Hope you guys are doing well. It's my post-lunch kind of funk I'm in here. Great video as always. Love Dan Snow. And I think I'm going to check out a few more videos from this English Heritage channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Would appreciate any and all comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.